The Scott and Steve Show on Lakeland's Lake Effect Radio. Scott and Steve.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. It means it's time for the world-famous Scott and Steve Show. We're very excited to be here today. Steve still is, he'll be here today. He's a little bit behind, so he's missed a couple weeks in a row, so he's a little bit behind. But we're going to get started here. We have a trusty Jeremiah with us here today. Jeremiah, how are you today?
Going, you know.
Yeah, same old, sounds like. Nightmares or dreams, too. We have this conversation.
Oh, true. Hopefully with a math test later today.
Math, strong subject. We'll get back to that in just a few minutes. But we have a special guest with us here today from Cardinal Credit Union. It is the branch manager, Rob Petrie. So, Rob, we want to welcome you to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
We're excited for you to be here today. And Rob's here to talk to us a little bit about, it's cutting out a bit, about Cardinal Credit Union, some of the programs. Of course, we have a technical difficulty right here.
Okay.
We back?
Yep.
My headphones are out, so all right, there we go. It must be going with a switch here. So anyway, Rob's here to talk to us today about some programs from Cardinal Credit Union right down here in the Lakeland campus. So Rob, we're going to turn it over to you for a few minutes and go for there. So what can you share with us today?
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, I'm with Cardinal Credit Union. I'm the manager there since July of this year, and not many people know too much about what Cardinal Credit Union does, but just think about us as just your regular bank that you have. We offer everything that banks do. We do loans, checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, money markets, even business accounts. So we do everything like that, and we're here to serve anybody at Lakeland, staff, students. We do offer different promotions throughout the year for you guys. Like right now, for instance. But we're heavy on the home loans. Rates are low. We are offering $300 off, for you at this point. And just if you need a couple extra bucks for the holidays, we do have a nice holiday loan. It's just as low as 6.99% for you. So that, or pay off your credit cards with it. And we do Visa cards. We have a nice promo. It's 1.99 for 6 months on our Visa card for you as well.
All right. All right, so pretty good different options there, and obviously targeting potentially different people with those. If we can, the first one you mentioned was a home refinance. So let's say you've got someone who already has a home loan through Cardinal or a partial loan through Cardinal or what have you. If they want to try to take advantage of this opportunity or at least explore it to find out if it'd be a better option for them, how would they go about doing that?
Okay, well, you could just stop. I'm in Building A, right across from the bookstore. Just stop in and see me, and we'll kind of review what your accounts are. It'd be nice if you have a mortgage statement so we can kind of compare, your rate, if it's worthwhile for you. The rates are low enough, but we can also determine, if you're on a 30-year, the rates are low enough where that payment may not change much by going to a 15-year, and you can really knock off some time and save a lot of interest on there. Right. So we can review all that for you.
All right, that sounds awesome.
But besides sort of Lakeland, since this branch is sort of close to Menor, do you guys also, are open with the community around here? Like with Kirtland, Menor, and that's where you go?
Yeah, I mean, we have 5 branches. The main one is in Menor. We have one in Willoughby. There's an office that's a drive-through. It's in Richmond Heights. We also have, we've expanded out quite a bit. We're in Ashtabula as well, and Austintown, more towards Columbus area as well. So. Yeah, so we're we're a nonprofit, and we're very very involved with the communities that we serve as well. So.
That's awesome. So what's probably the most popular thing with the students right now, would you say? I mean, they're looking at, I would assume, at school loans, books, stuff like that. What types of programs for students would you recommend or suggest?
Okay, well, we have a lot of students, obviously they're very young. They really don't have any credit that's established at this point, no trade lines. We do offer what's called it's a secured Visa card. So just like a regular Visa, you come in there, we need at least $250 to put into a savings account, which we would put on hold, so you're kind of borrowing from yourself. So we recommend people that don't have any credit to do that and just use it for groceries or gas, pay it off every month. And then anywhere from like 6 to 12 months, you're going to have that credit established already. And then we can probably get you into a more conventional type of a credit card where you don't have to have funds on hold. And then we work you up, once you have that going and you're a member with the credit union, we want to build on that relationship with you, especially a lot of the younger folks. We want to be there for them when they need that first car, and then when they go to look for purchasing their home. So that's where we start that relationship at, is just with that small secured Visa card, which helps out quite a bit, because a lot of students will come in and they won't be approved for a regular credit card. They just don't have that history of being responsible with their credit. So.
Well, it's a pretty smart business strategy. I mean, as I'm sure you're aware, more than 90% of the students who graduate from Lakeland actually stay in the surrounding area. So if you're able to develop that relationship at that point, I mean, that makes a lot of sense going through from a business perspective. So that's really great. Do you have to be a certain age? Because obviously we have CCP students here, so some of them are 16, 17 years old. They want to get started on a program that you're talking about. How old do you have to be, or do you need a parent signature, or how's that work?
Yeah, typically we want you to be 18 to get those secured cards. But one thing we do also recommend, if your parents are willing and if they have good credit, to add you on, like if you're 15, 16, have them add you on as an authorized signer, because that's also, when your parents are using it, it's reported to your Social Security number as well. So by the time you hit 18, you might already have that credit established.
Okay, that's a really good idea too then.
Yeah, add them on, but don't give them a credit card. Cause
I have three kids. I get it. I get it. That's awesome.
So what got you sort of into going about banking? Just a curiosity.
Okay, well, I started out I got out of college in 1992, and then I fooled around for 4 years, basically. And then I got with it was a local bank at the time, into a collections department. So wasn't the greatest experience. Was calling up folks and say, hey, pay me. Or
you weren't breaking legs or anything, were you?
No, I'm not. You
not
can
doing
see
that.
me. I'm not big enough to do that, but...
just want to be sure here, family friends show.
So, like right now, I'm like, hey, listen, you got to make that mortgage payment. It's November. It's getting cold out. It's not going to be...
It's going to get colder
So
in a few minutes.
it wasn't so nice. But then I got into a loan department where we were just selling like home equity loans and credit lines. And it really became my niche, is selling the loans. I did that for 10 years until the bank that I worked for was bought out. Then I got into mortgages and expanded out into doing, I was an investment advisor as well. And then, serving here as a branch manager.
So if we have students who are interested in banking in general, I mean, do you have suggestions to them? Because, I mean, you hear a lot of things going on, where there was, for a while there was concern about some banks closings and some buyouts and stuff, but it seems to have kind of regrouped and rebounded a little bit. But if you had any recommendations for students, what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, we do actually have an opening for a student teller, so that's a good way just to get in, just to
there you go,
kind of get that cash handling experience.
Okay. How many credits do you have to be in?
How many credits?
Yeah, do you have to be in a minimum of 6, or does it not matter?
It does not matter.
Okay,
yeah,
all right, very good.
We have 2 student tellers right now, so they handle most of the transactions at the front there, and we also have them kind of talk to them about different products that we offer.
Yep.
So. Yeah, I mean, my recommendation is once you get into there, just learn you're only going to be mainly doing transactions, but learn all the products so that you can move on from that position into a higher role.
So you're sort of like a teller / salesperson in a way.
Yeah, we like to do what's best for our members, so we're going to let them know what we have available and recommend the proper product for them. We're not product pushing. We like to first find out more about them, get their stories, so we're getting them into the right product.
Right. I've been a member for Cardinal Credit Union since I've been here, quite honestly. So that's 20 years from that aspect. So I could tell you that the thing that I love the most is the old Christmas fund opportunity, where you can put that money aside throughout the year, and then they transition it over there in December, beginning of December. That for me is godsend with the kids, I tell you, because it hits all at once. Especially when they're younger. And now that mine are a little bit older, it's not as big a deal, but I still do it. I still put the money aside and have it. And, at some point in my life, maybe I'll get to spend the money on my wife and I, or I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's the hope anyway. So anyway, I think that's a great product. I mean, do a lot of people take advantage of that? Or what else do you see from employees and that kind of thing, staff?
You know what? I've only been here since July, but we've been offering this holiday promo. Like, we just had somebody member that came in and recommended. They go, nope, I'm okay. I've got everything saved up in my holiday account. So
Okay.
I've found out there's quite a few of those out there. And not many banks offer those anymore.
I get it.
Oh, that's a great thing. It's a great way. It's money that you don't even think about. And then at least for me, and maybe that's my simple-mindedness. But then all of a sudden, when it comes there time, it's all right. Here's your limit now, and go from there. So it works out quite well from that aspect. That's really awesome. So you said you guys have expanded down even into the Columbus area almost. Do you see the Cardinal Credit Union? Do you see them continuing to develop and expand? Is that the goal, you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
they want to continue growing. We are pretty much the largest credit union around, and we're not towards Columbus just yet.
Okay.
But we're out more towards Youngstown.
Oh, Youngstown. I apologize. Yep.
But yeah, they're always looking for the right opportunity
Okay.
to expand.
Will they stay in the state of Ohio, or do you envision them going bigger than that?
I don't envision. I mean, it's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe many years down the road.
I don't envision
Yeah.
it because most credit unions have a charter just for the state that they're in.
Right.
So unless they expand on that, but
Okay.
I haven't heard any rumors or anything.
Okay.
Oh, look.
Hey.
Barbara came in. It's kind of funny.
Hey, long time no see.
Somebody decided to make an appearance for once.
Oh, it's another member of Cardinal Credit Union.
That's right. Proud member.
And for those fans who have not been listening for the last 2 weeks, we do have the world famous Steve Gagliardi, the second half of the Scott and Steve show, or the first half probably. He's here today. So Steve, we're glad that you were able to make it in, and we're looking forward to it. Now, just so you know, Rob Petrie here, he talked to us a little bit about some of the products of Cardinal Credit Union and what's going on there. And he's also come to find out a big football fan. So interested more, he thinks, a little bit more in college at this point, but likes them both. I'm going to kind of let you expand on that a little bit, Rob, if you want.
Well, first of all, I'm a diehard Browns fan, so I've suffered.
Okay.
Probably just like you.
In the past tense.
Hey, this is victory week, right? Victory week.
It is getting tough to watch with all the penalties, and it's these roughing the quarterback penalties. It's just sometimes it's becoming unwatchable. I don't know if it's more my team that I'm rooting for, or if it's just those penalties that just really hold things up. So I'm really much more into the college thing right now, big Buckeyes. And,
Especially Sunday, you were up here working over there in your office.
yeah, I had a couple things to do, but
Just like me, working over there, I missed that whole shenanigan
Over.
gallery.
Oh, okay.
I actually
okay.
thought if anybody was complaining about how the refs treat the Browns lately, I think last Sunday was definitely in their favor.
I would say the only call that people should be upset about, which is the right call in my eyes, was when our Landry had a little excitement after scoring a touchdown,
Yeah.
couldn't keep his mouth shut. 48-yard extra.
Was that when he
point.
was fixing his?
Yeah.
fixing his tie?
Yeah. 48-yard extra point is never a good thing, even for especially the Browns. But yeah,
well,
I haven't seen any of the replays of that.
Right.
that's the tough part when you're 2-6 and you're doing that. I mean, it's like shut your mouth.
Right.
well, I think that's the biggest thing we see, at least from my end, is there's too much emphasis on everything else but football right now with the Browns, and it's been that way for all season, frankly. And it's difficult to win in that situation. And guess what? They're having difficulty winning.
So let me ask Emily a question. I don't know. I think you mentioned you were here and you didn't see it. So was that a shovel pass?
Absolutely, that's what the official.
That's what the
called.
official said.
That's what the official
That's what the
called.
official said. That's
So it
not
must
really
have
what
been.
I saw.
No, man, that
It
was,
went forward, I guess.
Yeah, it went forward. Take
Take that out of the playbook, please.
It was a call that went in the Browns' favor, and
It
you know
did.
what? They don't get many of them, so they'll take it. It was a good interpretation. How about that? And I guess, Rob, I should be in full disclosure. I root for the Browns because I've lived here for 20 years, but I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm from that part of the country, so all the Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots, Celtics, that's more my area. But I do root for the Browns because, like I said, we live here. Steve's an ex-Browns fan.
Yep.
Now he's a Bengals fan.
I walked away. Had to walk
Bengals.
away.
Well, if you're gonna switch, I mean,
See, and everybody, I mean, this, our year is pretty much indicative of the Browns' year 2 years ago. So we're still waiting for our first win.
Are they going to get it?
I would hope so against Miami.
Miami's
won.
playing better, man.
Well, they're playing better, but come on. I mean, if I do, and no offense, but if I do identify our schedule, I would have to say we should at least garner a win off of Miami and Cleveland, at least splitting one.
All right. You heard it here first. They're going to split with Cleveland, huh? But that will end the Browns' playoff hopes if they lose to Cincinnati, because they're not going to lose any other games.
Here's the bad part about it. I mean, kudos to Baltimore. They're
playing well.
They're playing very well.
They are peaking a little early.
Because I have a problem with any team in our division having a losing or a 500 season making it into the playoffs. So
I don't think they're going to do that this year, and I'm talking about 500 or the playoffs. And I booked them at 9-7 before the season started.
I was generous. I gave the Browns 7 and 9.
Yep.
There's no way they were going 800, but I got a couple bets going where at least it's still in my favor.
That's one of them. That's one of them for sure.
Does anybody think Freddie's in over his head?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't.
Absolutely.
I think either two things, and maybe firing him. It might be a little bit more extreme, but it goes against everything that I think an organization should just. The Browns are so tumultuous with whether it's a new owner, whether it's a new GM, whether it's a new head coach or personnel on the team. They're always moving. There's no solidifying, any kind of game plan. So, if they were to stay the course, I would hope that someone directs them not to call the plays anymore.
Well, I think that's got to be part of it.
They have a great.
It's got to be part
They
of
have
it.
probably one of the greatest lineups that we've ever seen, maybe in 50 years, and they are not utilizing these guys to their talents.
Right. If Dorsey's going to bring him back, I think he's got it. That's got to be part of it. Not
Right.
only bring in someone who's going to call the plays, be an offensive coordinator, but also maybe bring in an advisor or a special assistant with some experience. That can help him through some of these things.
Normally I don't watch a Browns game. So me and a couple guys, we decided we were going to actually go out and watch the Bengals-Baltimore's game. And the establishment we went to only had Spectrum TV. They didn't really have a football package. So
the Browns.
Being in the Cleveland market, we watched the Browns game instead and paid attention to the little ticker with the scores. But nonetheless, to watch Hunt come back for his first game,
I actually thought he played well.
They have a very formidable passing and rushing offense now.
Yep.
And it's like, wow. I mean, him and Chubb complement each other. You kind of don't know what package is coming or how he's going to be utilized. And, you can keep defenses on their toes. Great. But it's when you take 8 plays to get stuffed on the goal line,
and then 3 more later on, and thankfully it was a penalty, or else it would have been another one.
That's because they're pitching the ball just
with no lead block.
Cardinal,
some of them but even the line they couldn't create an opening.
Well, so it's funny. Bill Armstrong. I don't know if you know Bill real well. He's a math teacher here, but he's
Ohio
also
State fan.
Huge Ohio State fan. I try not to hold that against him.
Me neither.
But he's also pretty into football, though. He's pretty knowledgeable. But he did point something out in there that they pulled their guard like 4 of those 8 plays.
Right.
They had a pulling guard. And the problem is when they pulled their guard, it's not like anybody cut in. I mean, that guy was in the backfield, and the last play, God, Chubb was getting hit as the ball was handed off to him. It's just you gotta have some common sense there, and they certainly did not have that. I guess we should continue going around.
Did they shift though? I was going to say they didn't pull them, but they're not shifting.
No, they're not doing anything. Yeah, they just went from there. Jeremiah is a true Browns fan. We try not to hold that against him, but he does root for
breathes, sleeps everything Ohio sports.
Yes, Ohio State, the Browns, and stuff like that.
Or Northern Ohio, I should say.
Yeah.
Better than Kyle.
Yeah, but you know what? Kyle's true to his team, though.
Yeah.
Kyle's true to his team.
Just not true to paying off his bets.
Right.
Rooting against any team that in Ohio that makes it anywhere. So
Yeah.
even Cincy and that he's against like anything Ohio.
See, and I've been here long enough, I feel now, where I will support Ohio teams so long as they don't negatively impact my teams.
Right.
I like the Indians when it doesn't hurt my Red Sox. What am I going to tell you?
I mean, you're just indifferent then.
To the Indians?
Right. Well, I mean, just in
I
the sport.
root for them.
I
root for them. I mean,
you know.
but I also realistic and know that they're a few years away from being competitive again, and the Browns are a few years away from being competitive. The Cavs are several years away from being competitive, and
but playing well. They are playing well.
They're playing well. It's week
We've only
2.
just begun.
I didn't think they'd had 4 wins by now.
Yeah, that's true. But they're
Well, not
yeah.
including, what was it last? Was it last night or night before that they lost by 2?
1 to Philly last night.
Yeah. And Philly's a good team. Philly's a good team. So to your point, they are
on the road,
playing
too.
better, and they're doing well from that aspect. But yeah.
We're
So
a few years away from it, but at least better potential.
sure.
For sure.
Sure. So Browns Steelers. Thursday night, tomorrow night. Anybody feeling gutsy?
Is that in Cleveland?
Yes, it's in Cleveland.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if the Rams' offense just stinks right now or if Pittsburgh's defense was that good Sunday. So it's tough to
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to gauge.
that. But I hate
Yeah.
Thursday night games too.
Yeah.
So,
Right now,
so
so
does it.
far, we don't have a very good track record with, prime time games so far this year.
I think there's a
Is
couple things.
this going to be the betting game of the week? I guess I gotta.
You know, I'm
find out.
not opposed to that. I think the Browns have a couple things going. Number one, they're coming off a win, but that could also be the double-edged sword because they didn't get much practice time in after Sunday's game. I don't
Well,
know.
the Steelers played later than they did.
Right.
Okay, so it's even keel then, I guess.
Yeah.
And reaching back to my past Browns season ticket holdership, this might be the first time in a very long time there might be more Browns fans in those stands than Steelers fans. Because of the team.
The key is will they be allowed to cheer?
Oh my God, that's a whole other topic.
And will they be there? And will they still be there the fourth quarter?
I can't believe he came out with that.
Oh man, that was unbelievable.
hear.
Baker Mayfield said that the fans need to help them out and be quiet when they're on offense.
That's right. When they're on offense, be quiet because it disrupted their
It's
disrupted
disrupting their
offense.
mojo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Wow. So,
he didn't-
so let's take the life force out of the advantage of the home team, you know?
Cheer all you want when Pittsburgh has the ball.
Right.
But when you have the ball, well, now I got to believe he was probably referring more to when they're kind of in the end, you know what I mean, by the horseshoe ends because of
You
the
are
extra
a
noise.
professional player. Professional.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I
There-
actually like
listen,
Mayfield, but he is
Time out.
putting his foot in his mouth left and right this year.
Okay, so there's a couple of open air stadiums that do get loud just because obviously the architecture and how it kind of keeps
Seattle.
the sound. Seattle's one of them. I think
He's dealt with it in college, though.
not that much. There's not too many domed college football stadiums, but
But
We-
they have a hell of a lot more people that can go in the be fit in stadiums in college than pros.
listen, it makes a difference. You know, domed, curved versus a true open air. I mean, that sound is something, but you know, you got to get it spot on with each other. I think you got to understand how things are going to be played, whether they're audibles or count sequence. But
To come out and say that, though,
that's horrible, man. You keep that in the
tell
locker
your
room.
fans what he could have done, which I've seen happen years ago, back in our day, quarterbacks would step to the line and do this.
Right.
To tell
Bernie
the
was
fans,
famous
hey,
for that.
Just quiet down a little bit. I mean, without being, you don't have to come out and say you're too
Yeah.
loud. I mean,
Yeah,
oh
that's-
my gosh, that was just
I-
that was poor.
his,
Poor-
his train's about ready to derail, man.
Oh man.
Or let you go, because it looks like you were about to say something.
Oh no! I just what Steven just said about Bernie would be the old wave in the hands.
Right.
Even Brian Sipe, even prior to that.
Right.
I mean, I was at some loud games. I was at 1981, Red Right 88, but you probably weren't even born.
No, I was born. I just wasn't
It
watching
was like
probably
30
TV
below,
at that time.
and interception. All they needed was a field goal. It was loud.
Yeah.
It's at the drive against Elway. It was loud. It didn't affect Elway too much, apparently. But
It's funny how that works.
But that's
the answer.
but that's exactly it.
That's
I mean,
exactly
you're professional. I mean, but it also it lends its hand to experience.
Right.
You know how many Elway? I mean, you know, some of those greats. They were all in situations like that. Now, whether or not they overcame or showed their lack of experience is another thing. I think Mayfield right now just kind of I think he needs to quiet down and just.
I think this is another commercial opportunity for him. Maybe he could start doing the beats, you know, where he puts them on, he hears the music, and
Right.
you know, to quiet the sound and stuff. I think that it's an opportunity for a marketing opportunity.
Yeah.
Another,
Luckily, we got a few people out there. You
Oh.
gotta love Steven and Scott's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Well, who you got for tomorrow? Browns, Steelers.
I'm going Steelers, man. I'm going Steelers.
what's the line on it? But
I don't know. Not only the other thing is Connor.
We bet straight up. We bet
We
straight up.
bet
in here.
pizza.
We bet pizza and drink straight up.
I got to go with Pittsburgh. I can't. Even though the Browns,
And that's a
won,
good, realistic fan right there.
Yeah.
As much as his heart says, "Hey, I got to stick with my team."
Does anybody feel like we won this past Sunday? I mean, with how pathetic that was, we won, but it sure felt like we lost. I don't.
I think they won in the sense that they hung in there. Even towards the end of the game, I felt they left an. Well, first off, timeout.
Okay.
Buffalo needs a new kicker right off the bat. Okay, because as soon as the Browns scored, I'm like, my goodness, clock management. You left too much time on the clock.
Right,
They're going to come down. They're going to march it down.
Yep.
And they did. And luckily, dude just hooks everything to the left.
Yeah.
Because 2 in 1 game, man.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking over there, Jeremiah? You going to take a pick here?
Even though I want to, I can't go with the Browns.
So you're picking Pittsburgh also?
Sadly.
So the only way this becomes a bet is if I take the Browns.
yeah, we can pick a different game.
Yeah.
I mean, the Browns should win. I mean, they got a third-string quarterback going for Pittsburgh. It's at home, but it's hard to pick the Browns with their track
Oh, wait,
record.
did he get injured?
Who?
The what's his face?
Rudolph?
Yeah.
He's a third. There was another guy that was injured after
Yeah.
Roethlisberger, I believe.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah, you're correct.
What about Dalton getting benched?
Yeah, well, that's happened to Cincinnati.
That's some foreshadowing, huh?
All right, I tell you what, I will take the Browns.
Yeah?
I will take the Browns. Because they're gonna make. Well, they're not gonna make 9-7. They're gonna make 8-8 though.
No,
and this is the game that's gonna do it. So I will take the Browns against
they
my
haven't,
head.
They haven't played Pittsburgh yet, right?
No.
So they still have 5 more conference games.
Correct. 2 against Cincy, 2 against
And then 1 against
Pittsburgh.
Baltimore.
Right.
In Miami, too, right?
Well, I'm just talking I'm sorry, our
conference.
division. I'm sorry, our division.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I don't know.
I'm going to bet with heart now, not head. And I know it's always a bad thing. So I'll take it just to make this a valid bet here today, and I'll take the Brownies and go from there.
Yeah, come
That's all
on,
it
come
took.
on.
That's all it took.
Just pick one.
He's also known as Mr. Waffle.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at
Flip-flop.
Pittsburgh's defense, I'm like, they're going to just throw some curves at Mayfield, and Hayden probably pick one. I'm
All right, so make a decision here, man.
Go with the Browns.
Okay.
All right, 2 Browns, 2. So we bet, if you want in on this, we bet pizza, a slice of pizza, and or a drink.
Soda.
Soda, yeah, soda, yeah.
A soda.
I get chocolate milk personally, but one of those that we pay off next Wednesday or whenever we can work it out. So if you want in, you're in, and we'll go from there. So,
I'm in.
All right.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I lose.
Yeah. I don't know, man. All right, so let's switch to college a little bit since it was mentioned. Now, Ohio State's got a huge game this weekend. I don't know if they're going to get by. I don't know what the spread is. It's Rutgers.
It's 50 and a half.
50 and a half. Oh, do you think they'll get by? Will they cover the spread is the question.
Who have they played
in
yet?
the first half?
Who have they played yet?
Yeah.
Well, they played the Little Sisters of the Poor.
All right.
They played the Big Sisters of the Poor.
Right.
And now they're playing Rutgers.
Honestly, I don't. Who have they played yet?
Hey,
Wisconsin.
They're 2 in the country, man.
I'll give you Wisconsin. They're talking number 1 in certain
Sound like they're
polls.
playing Minnesota.
They don't deserve it.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. LSU, I
Just
think,
based.
deserves.
Listen,
LSU
I'm not chopping them down or a football team, but I don't think they deserve it based purely off the schedule.
But you can't put Clemson ahead of them.
Clemson has not played well. Clemson
Neither has
not played
Alabama,
well.
except for LSU.
Right. LSU's played well.
That's the racket. This college football playoffs it's horrible. It's
Well,
horrible.
until they expand
Get Baylor up there. But
Well-
wait, they don't sell.
Right.
They're not
Until they expand the
sensational.
playoff, you'll never get quality games early on or non-leaguers because teams can't afford to lose because there's only 4 in there. Right? I mean, so until they say, okay, we're going to let 8 in, then suddenly you can afford to have a loss. Then maybe we'll start seeing some quality matchup and stop.
So you're
these patsy
saying
games.
in the structure of the schedule itself is where the proof in the pudding is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why is Michigan getting hit with Wisconsin in week number 3? You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's not an equal.
Well, it's a league game. They don't have a choice.
Eventually, yeah.
Right. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
not saying that they shouldn't face them.
Right. I'm talking the non-leaguers, the non-leaguer games, the ones that are not the extra games.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the games that you could see some quality matchups in there, as opposed to the offseason if they would go to a bigger schedule, because right now you can't afford. And if you are going to play those Florida Atlantic teams, stuff like
Right.
that, you're only going to play them at home. And granted, it's money driven, but you're only going to play them at home because you can't afford a loss, man. And that'll not change under our current structure, in my eyes.
Alabama's got Western Carolina coming up. You know,
They should be able to. They should be able to get that.
Manhandled by LSU though this weekend.
LSU's more tested, man. LSU's
a lot of
more
people
tested.
did.
Yeah, but
lot of
LSU's more
people did.
tested this year again. And
I like LSU.
but to Ohio State's defense, and I don't usually do this, they are looking very good against the teams they're playing. The problem is they're not really playing anyone to really get a good gauge. You know what I mean? Penn State got beat last week. So now when they play Penn State in 2 weeks,
Does it mean anything?
Is it a good win? You know what I'm saying? Because we're getting a better idea of where they actually might be at. You know what I mean? I think I called this early on when we talked about this. They had 4 Big Ten teams in the top 10 or 12 at
Right.
one point. In my mind, the only reason for doing that is because they wanted to ensure that a Big Ten team got into the Final Four. That's the only way you can do that.
Yeah, they got to win their conference.
You got to put everyone
Yeah.
up there, and so if everyone's up there, then it's a quality win against somebody. And I just don't see it.
I do have to appreciate your biggest fan out there. They were booing about the Pittsburgh Pigs to, go Scott, Browns are favored. Then
And
they were moving
what's the
on to,
handle? What's the handle? Who is it?
Our favorite.
yeah,
listener.
Steven and Scott's biggest fan.
There we go. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So they're Brown fans. Gotta love it. Keep chirping in. What are they saying about the Ohio State game?
They're favored by 51.
You were
You call
right.
it. So we can bet that. Well, do they cover the spread?
So when is Rutgers and Maryland going to pony up and?
Drop to the D2.
Well, I guess. They. I don't know how they made it in the Big Ten, but
But they want to talk a little about Michigan and how they're doing.
Michigan
Michigan's doing
stinks,
solid.
and don't say that bad word.
I know. Well, they said it.
Michigan's actually been playing better.
Rolled-
They've been playing better.
rolled Notre Dame
They
pretty good.
have. They've been playing
and
better.
we got little brother this weekend.
Yep, Michigan State.
Yep.
So that'll be a big matchup. They've been playing better in my eyes. I don't know. How much credit do you give any of them at this point?
Well, game's what 2 weeks
Michigan's
away.
overrated.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. I don't know if they. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're overrated. I'm not sure they deserve the ranking they got right now. I think they should be lower. Maybe not even in the top 25.
Isn't that the definition of overrated then?
No, in the Ohio State's fan.
Oh, okay.
In the Ohio State fans' mind, overrated just means the existence. But I'll be honest with you, it might be Ohio State's only formidable opponent this year.
You could be right there. I'm not sure what you're going to get with Penn State.
But if
I don't know.
Ohio State, let's say they beat Rutgers, they will. They beat Penn State, they lose to Michigan. They're still in the Big Ten championship game.
They probably.
And if they beat an
That
undefeated,
drops them out of the top
would drop out.
4.
Well, and I think if they win the Big Ten championship game, they'll still pop up in
if
there.
Michigan and
I think it depends on how everyone else
And
does
here's-
at that
and
point.
here's the crux.
I don't see Alabama getting
Undefeated
bumped.
Minnesota game in the
No, not
championship.
Minnesota.
Actually, they
Minnesota
wouldn't be.
get it.
Michigan would be in the Big Ten championship game because if they beat Ohio State, we only got 2 losses.
No, we got 1. They got 2 losses. Michigan's
Yeah.
got 2 losses.
But in the conference,
Michigan cannot make the.
they lost to Wisconsin and. Jeez, oh man.
Oh, like Wisconsin and Minnesota are
Yeah.
in the
Was it-
Western.
No, I know. Anyway,
Let's see.
I don't know. I wouldn't see Ohio State making it in. Not off.
I don't see it.
Michigan.
Yeah, I don't see it making it in the Final Four in that
Not all-
situation,
it-
unless some other teams.
You'd have to have a
take some losses as
catastrophic
well.
breakdown in the top
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
But
If Michigan didn't beat Ohio State last year, I don't see them beating them this year because I
Last
thought they were going to roll them last year because
Yeah.
we were giving up 80-yard runs every other play.
right. I would agree. You pulling it up there, young man?
Yeah.
All right.
Pull up their schedule and see who they've lost.
only difference is I don't know. I don't think Ohio State's as good. They're playing in the big house. If we're talking about
What
fans
about that
and
first
crowd,
10-0?
that's 118,000 strong right there. I mean, it's been there many times. It's
So, yeah,
not the easiest place to play.
You guys lost Wisconsin, Penn State.
Penn State, that's right. That should have been a win too.
If you guys want to go on another piece of pizza here, we can bet on that Ohio State-Michigan game. I'll come.
I know.
Yeah, that's worth a little more than a piece.
I'll do a whole pizza to you if Michigan wins.
Look at this guy.
He's
Huh?
really,
Three
he's really
toppings,
putting it
if
out
you
there.
Oh, man.
I know me and him have to come up with our usual bet.
No, I'm not wearing a.
No, something. along
Stupid.
We do have a more significant bet for that game, just so so we'll definitely get you in on that. If
What
you
is it?
wanna. Well, I know we haven't come up with it, but usually we come up with that one. Super Bowl's a bigger one, and we tend to do some different things when we can. But yeah, so we'll have to think about that. We'll have to get you back. You gonna be able to come back on our show at some point?
Before the Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be
All right.
great.
Yeah.
Well, it's only
definitely
next Monday. There's only 2 weeks. I mean, there's it.
Yeah.
This Saturday and the following Saturday.
So it'll be.
Wait, unless I'm like a week off.
We got Rutgers, Penn State.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Michigan.
2 more weeks.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks before the Michigan game, come on back on. You're invited. Come on, just stop up. If you can't be at old time, just stop up for a little bit.
What date is that, Jeremiah?
And we'll go from there.
It's
The day before Thanksgiving. So that's when our next
Yeah,
show. That's
so-
the show before the Michigan game.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a show that day.
Gives it off to this. So if Michigan loses, Steve has to bring back the mustache.
No.
Yeah.
My wife will kill me. No.
The 30th.
The 30th is.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the game. I'm talking
That's
about the Wednesday. What is the Wednesday?
So
26.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving,
Right.
we're still on.
Yeah, we're still on.
Yeah.
We'll be there
so,
at 9.
All right, 9:00. So that Wednesday.
Okay.
Now we may have to avoid a lot of people in the hallways on that day.
It's gonna be a ghost
typically-
town.
That's a big attendance day for classes
Yeah.
and stuff. But
It's going to be a
Well,
ghost.
compared to me and him going back and forth on Facebook, with everything.
all right. So here's my question: why are my Hokies not getting any love and respect? They lose by 1 point to Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They knock off 22 Wake Forest. Notre Dame moves up in the stands. Wake Forest drops out. Why are we not getting any love in the top 25?
Because you don't sell.
That's crap,
That's why.
man. I tell you,
Not a big enough program, buddy.
That's just not right. That's just not right.
But you got to remember, I mean, Notre Dame's overrated too. Michigan.
But they moved up last week.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't get it. But that's all right. That's all right. So let's move on. We got any other? Do we want to talk
Oh,
about?
wait, they want to ask who's better, Michigan or the Bengals?
The Bengals,
Michigan, they at least win games. They at least win
Bengals are
games.
pros. Come on, they're pros.
I actually saw a
Kill
funny.
'em. Yep.
Actually saw a funny meme the other day on Facebook. It says the Cincinnati Bengals are now being replaced by the Ohio State Buckeyes for in the AFC Central. I thought it was funny. It was funny.
People actually think that a college team could beat a pro team. It's insane. There's no
it's
way.
totally different level of play.
Yeah,
No way.
different level. So let's talk about some of the things going on there. Let's switch gears a little bit. Obviously, I didn't see the final ruling. I thought it was coming out yesterday. Maybe it's going to come out today on the Ohio State player who.
I know someone texted about that one.
Okay.
Oh, the one getting money.
They're not
Yeah.
getting Ray Rice.
What?
Say it again.
They wanted to go Chase Young, then they want to talk about Ray Rice and why he isn't
Ray
in
Rice.
the NFL anymore.
'Cause he's
Damage
40
control.
something
Yeah,
now, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's older. Number one. Number two, he's damaged goods.
Yeah, let's go with Young first, though, because that's quite an interesting thing. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something with this because it's my understanding a family friend gave his girlfriend essentially money to go to the game last year.
Well, he's an agent.
No, I was that's must be what I was missing because I'm being told he was not an agent, not affiliated with his school.
Family friend.
Yeah,
Just totally benign.
that's my understanding. Not a product pusher. Not and it just if you
Well,
like.
can I
your
ask a
friend-
question?
Yeah.
And I understand this was last year. Mm-hmm. It's going to go nowhere, especially with the NCAA's new ruling.
Well, he's suspended 4 games right now.
Oh.
So, but they're supposed
Blue.
to they're supposed to review that though, and they're talking about do they reinstate or is he only 2 games or what have you? Because let's be honest, if he's out 4 games, he's not coming back and playing in the
No,
playoffs.
he won't be here.
No, there's absolutely no way he was going to put that at risk. So that's my understanding of the facts though, is that no relation to a college program, no nothing with a agent.
So his girlfriend couldn't get a ticket to the game?
Didn't have the money to go out to the Rose Bowl. Is my
Oh, the
understanding.
Rose Bowl. Okay. I was just thinking all right, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see that.
So they
Yeah.
paid for the
So what does this
flight.
have to do with him?
Well, it's an affiliate of him, and it's one of his family friends.
It's disconnected. Listen, if he has
that's
no
my
ties
opinion.
to it,
That's my opinion, but that's unfortunately it's not the
so
rules
so how
work.
far off the family tree do we have to go until there's no impact to the
And he paid it back too.
And he paid it back. Yes, and he paid it back.
NCAA is insane. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's.
this
I
was
think it's.
Guys on ESPN don't have anything about that, the actual suspension.
Not sure.
Regulation here.
Well, my understanding is they've been told 4, but they're appealing it. Is my understanding. My understanding is that an injunction was put on almost right away.
Is he a senior?
Well, he's junior, but he's leaving anyway.
Yeah.
He's leaving
See,
anyway.
I mean, I get you're putting your suspension in. Suspension's going to go through after the season.
But this really hurts him too. I mean, he's just I know he's huge and he's just a kid, and I mean, look what this is going to do.
I don't see any merit to it. I really don't. I think anybody who actually, you
Right.
know, objectively would look at it and be like,
Right.
this is just a shakedown.
Yep.
So the rumor has it is that that the Maryland assistant coach, okay, used to work at the high school that he went to. And that's
Okay.
where this girl's at, and then it went around the high school, of course, when she got brought out there.
Okay.
And so because that's how he became aware of it. So the rumor has it that's why that he's the one that blew the whistle on him. And then this weekend when they played Maryland, and they were calling timeouts at the end of the half, trying to when they're already up 20-0, they're saying that they're feeling that's the reason why Ohio State was aware that they were the whistleblowers, if you will, and so we're trying to take it out on them a little bit. Just that kind of stuff. I don't know. The NCAA's got to be smarter than that. I just don't get it. But
Listen, if you want to beat Ohio State, just come with a better product.
Well, I was going to say the flip of it, though, is from the corruption standpoint, you do have to be aware of people getting free tickets out here and that
Right.
kind of thing, because let's be honest, it's been happening forever, and that's how a lot of players have gotten into hot water with these night contracts, whether else parents been taken care of, houses have been bought.
Right.
I mean, so there is something to it that you do have to be aware of, at least under the current set of rules.
Right.
You got to be aware of it. But I mean, from what it appears to be, just totally benign thing. I mean, if that's actually the case, and they're just it's just crazy out of bounds.
I'm sure they weren't even aware it would be any kind of a violation either. Just like
Yeah, I would assume it would be
Chase Young and
yeah,
this girl.
right. That'd be like
not doing to him though. I mean, you might be like,
Right.
I don't know. I would never have thought it. If we're removed from the player himself, and I mean, other than having a relationship, right?
That's the rub. That's the rub.
Difference doesn't make.
Because that's how you
Did it make
control
him?
people.
Did it make him play better? And did it affect the outcome of the game?
In Maryland, I would say no.
Well, you see what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
listen, it just I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't. It did not enhance him in any way, shape, or form,
Right.
or affect the game.
Right.
It's just really nitpicking. It sort of goes back to like one thing.
Let's
what was it? After the Rose Bowl, what was it? It was something Hall that he sold his, Rose Bowl ring and
Right.
that and that. So he can make rent because he's living off campus.
A lot of them do. It's a gift. He can do it.
And he got, tagged and that by the end. Ring or keeping a roof under my head so I can go to school. What's more important?
A lot of guys sell their rings.
Well, he got tagged and that's suspended by,
I don't know. I think the NCAA has way too much overreach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way too much.
The athlete is choosing to live off campus. He doesn't have enough money. He needs to keep a roof over his head. He's going to do what he needs to do to keep the roof over his head. It's not like he's selling it and going building, buying a new car,
What if I was to argue that he has the ability to keep his roof over his head by living on campus, and so as a result, he chose to live off, which means there's responsibility there. Just trying to play devil's advocate because
You're right.
In a way, I sort of get it. But
Well, the athletics have their own setups.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
So he has a slot. He just chooses not to use it.
correct. So if you're making a choice not to use it, then with that comes responsibility, consequences, what have you. I mean,
I would have just kept the ring and started a GoFundMe page. I mean, he would have already had rent paid for years.
that's an interesting concept too.
Yeah.
As long as they're not boosters, unless you're in the state of Florida or
California.
see, that's sort of that, two-sided sword there. You don't know who's always going in, giving money there.
Well, that when that comes through, whenever they decide
Well,
how to
here's-
handle that, that's going to be a cluster.
Well, with the GoFundMe, yeah.
It's going to be a cluster, man. There's no way to enforce what's
Well,
happening.
they're opening up the floodgate, but I think it's a gate that needs to be open.
Yeah. Well,
You
there's
know.
no choice. There's no
But
choice.
at the same time, like I said, if you can prove that it didn't enhance him in any way or dictate the outcome of a game or performance, what difference does it make? These colleges are making buku money off these athletes. and-
Some are.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that.
Only
You
your
know.
top
You know,
programs
yeah,
are.
you
Let's
know.
remember now, most college football programs lose money.
Sure. So
So
I
they're
would say,
subsidized by the
let's say your
college.
Pac-10, your Big Ten, your ACC, SEC.
Even those the top programs
right.
are.
Like
in those
Northwestern's
things.
probably not making big money,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Or Maryland or Rutgers.
Yeah, they might be
But-
losing a little bit of money there.
I just.
So, but
Are they losing money? Let's put it this way: Are they? I get that they're losing money by offering the program, the costs of the program.
Correct.
Are they obviously losing money on scholarships? I mean, I don't know. There has to be some recoup, whether it be ticket sales, concession sales,
Sure.
apparel, what have you. There's
Yeah.
got to be some level of recoup.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
there
anyway,
there
it's
is.
a cost of doing business.
Correct.
And they're writing that loss off to begin with.
Correct.
So,
It's called tuition.
right. But I don't know. Let the guys make money,
I still want to point out this. If anybody's listening, that would be Gene Smith. If you're listening, here's my recommendation again: would be to allow schools who want to pay their student athletes, allow them to do it. Get out of the NCAA completely. Start your own minor league system or whatever you want to call it. Pay them. Go to school. Don't go to school. Don't really. It's whatever you guys come up with. And then the rest of these programs that want to have an institutional-based, college-based program, you run it. You follow not necessarily the current NCAA rules because I do think they need to be current, but you follow a set of rules that have guidelines for academics and stuff. I think you could separate it out and let. I mean, this is really the issue. The issue is really there's no minor league system for football.
I think the NCAA would exist on a very small scale and not be relevant anymore.
Correct. So what?
No, I'm just saying it would just fold. Because,
and I'm
because
okay
all your
with that.
professional teams are
Me
not.
too.
Yeah,
All your,
yeah,
me too. I mean,
yeah.
your professional teams would not delve into a NCAA school because if you got a kid who's doing well in an NCAA school, they're going to make that transition.
Right.
You know, or they're going to get heavily scouted by a college that does enter that other faction.
Correct. But for my end, it's all it is. It's a minor league system.
Sure.
So you know what? NFL, suck it up and get your own minor league system or programs secede and do whatever you want
Right.
from that aspect. Make money, go to school, don't go to school, whatever you want to do. Let
Right.
it go, man. I highly recommend that again. But hopefully Gene heard that.
Either
Listen.
that or you could adopt some XFL regulations of pay, like make it incentive based.
Yeah, you get.
I mean, if you want to level a playing field, just make it incentive based.
there you go. There you go.
They just opened a can of worms. Your biggest fan.
What's that?
About high school, should they be paid?
What's coming? It's coming. How are you going to stop it? If you're not going to stop it in college, who are amateurs, how are you going to stop it in high school?
I don't see any traction in that.
I do. I think you're a couple years away, but let's be honest.
Half these school systems ain't got enough money to operate.
There's a lot of recruiting that goes on right now.
Your big
in high
schools. I mean, your Mentor, your Canton McKinley,
there you go.
your Ignatius. Did you say Kurt? What?
Oh, Kirtland sort of. They have a decent, really well program around the area.
Kids
They
currently
win games, but they're like D4, I think.
Yeah, kids currently though are either recruited or move into different districts
Sure.
for sport related reasons. All right. To think that there's no financial ramifications involved with that at some point, no, that's coming. It's coming. Now, I don't think it's going to be across the board like you'll maybe see in college, but I do think you're going to see it at some level where there'll be incentive based or just you coming in. You're going to receive something
Is that for
coming in.
sports or all extracurriculars?
That's a great question. I think it'll start with sports. I don't know if
Because there's some. I'll be honest with you. I mean, there's some high schools out there that have dynamic marching bands.
Yeah, exactly
You know,
right.
They can fill the
Exactly.
stands and.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, it's a slippery slope. It'll
It
be
is.
interesting to see how the waters settle.
Yep.
But
Now they just added this slippery slope to the mix. Will Lakeland pay this thing?
ooh, That is a good question.
Well, I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. I'm not a fan of it, so I hope not. I would be happy getting more scholarship, quite frankly.
Do you think pay takes the drive out of the athlete?
I think
Once you got that contract locked in.
it depends on what their goals are.
Right.
I think that if you have student athletes who want to move on, then pay allows them to. It takes worry off their plate.
Right.
You know what I mean? We deal with a lot of student athletes who are concerned about where's their next meal, how are
Sure.
they paying rent. They don't even have books and they're in the 8th week of the semester because they can't afford books. I mean, this is a thing that happens all the time.
Right.
So a payment plan or a scholarship type program would at least take that burden away,
Right.
which would allow them, I think, to focus.
What if we
more.
had a athlete come up? I don't know if you could maybe.
What do you mean come up? Oh, you mean right now?
Let's talk
Yeah.
about, well, not right now, but
Yeah.
maybe in the next week or two,
Oh,
or
for
maybe
sure.
after the semester, and just
Yeah.
say, hey, what are your thoughts? I mean, you're the athlete.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to have
Yep.
hopefully some opinion on this way the NCAA is
Sure.
going to set the benchmark.
Yep, absolutely. We'll definitely bring somebody on
I mean,
board
I'd be
and go
interested
from
to hear
there.
what they say. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. But I do think that. But the other thing I would say to that.
do you
is,
pay them a student worker wage?
that's a good
How
question.
does that change things? Like, I mean, obviously the student workers make a certain wage here,
Right.
for their role wherever they are at in the college.
Mm-hmm.
Does the college look at the athlete as a student worker at that point?
Yeah.
Do you
They don't make a student worker wage right now. The
No,
ones that do
but-
receive scholarship.
right? But what I'm saying though
Yeah.
is, let's say they, the benchmark was the student worker wage.
Yeah.
Is it competitive?
Right.
Do you raise it? Do you then cheapen other student workers by saying,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, it just opens a lot of different avenues
Yeah.
of.
And here's
I
a.
wouldn't be surprised if it sort of went, if that did happen, go sort of towards that scale, because it's somewhat easier.
It gives you an idea, right? But then again, at the same time, though, let's just say our rival Tri-C, right? They come out and they say, "Boom, this is what we're paying our student athlete." If it comes to this, how do you keep?
It happens now, Steve.
I know it happens now,
Just in terms of scholarship, because that's pay.
right? But at the same time, you got to remain competitive. You want to
Right.
keep the team.
So Tri-C already way outdoes us. I mean, not even close.
Right.
I mean, there are 2 to 3 times more scholarship than we have
Okay.
per sport.
Wow.
I mean, it's not.
Right.
So I mean, this is already going on.
Yeah.
Why is that, though? Why are they so much?
I would have to say the tax base is significantly
Yeah,
larger.
they do. They just passed on our levy too.
Yeah.
I saw, and yeah. I mean, it's just
Geographically
where
bigger,
they're at. Yeah.
tax-paying demographic.
Yeah.
Oh, this is somebody still on.
But we're competitive still. Even with that, we're still competitive.
Right.
Which is good.
So your biggest fan wants to know, how close are we towards a football team here?
Not close. Not close at all. Nope. Not close.
Ain't gonna happen.
Not close at all. There's to start a football team, you need almost $1 million to do it right. And then on top of that, you got to remember, if you're gonna have 85 or 100 student athletes for football, we better start doing something with some more female sports as well, from a gender equity perspective.
Didn't ladies soccer just, pardon the pun, even the field
They did.
with the drop of golf and everything?
Yeah, they did. Yep, they did.
Excuse me.
Yep. So that really helped from
Right.
that perspective, from a Title IX perspective. But if you're going to add football, you better be adding
Yeah.
3 or 4 other women's programs as well. You're going to have to add something. You know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, it's just football. No, I mean, I would love to have it. I think it would be great to have it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I can tell you football is a lot of work because I've been at schools that have had it. I've been an AD at a school that had it, and it's a lot of work. But the other thing you'll need is dorms got to happen then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're not going to have dorms, you're not bringing in 100 kids. It's not happening.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of variables to it. There's other costs involved. You got to come up with a meal plan. You know what I mean?
24 hours a day.
It's different than what we have now, right? With it on the card base. I mean, there's got to be stuff. You've got to have the study table sessions set up, the academic things set up even more than what we have now, and the bases that we have now.
I mean, it's a huge cadre of people.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Huge.
just a lot of things outside of just lining up and playing football. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Oh, it's a lot bigger.
if you look at all the hoops that Lake Erie had to go through,
Yeah.
transition from club to
Right.
sanctioned.
Yep.
So
Yep. And it's tough. And then, at least Lake Erie has a league to be in as well.
Right.
We wouldn't have that. So our teams are going to be travel.
I was say, are there any teams in the conference now that have football?
Hocking College currently has football.
Okay.
And they travel. They're traveling to Georgia. They're traveling to New Jersey.
Right.
They're traveling. Think about that. Think about the cost of 80.
Just travel alone.
Even if you cut your travel roster to 50,
right?
So you fit on a bus, right? 50 people in a hotel room.
You still need
meal.
more, yeah.
It's bucks, man.
Yeah.
You're talking a significant investment, which I think would be phenomenal. I just don't think that Lakeland's in a position right now to make that kind of a commitment, at least at this point.
It would be different if other teams around in the conference.
Yeah, for sure. That if we knew we could get 8 games within an hour or two or a couple hours, so we're not having to spend nights and stuff like that, that certainly would help. But it's just not there right now. It's just not realistic. Well, shoot. A bus for a overnight for a weekend, you're talking $3,000 to $5,000 just for the weekend. You know what I mean? So, it's just there's a lot to it. But I would love to see it. I just don't think that Lakeland is currently in position for it.
Yeah, we got.
Yep, we got to hit it out. All right, it's that time. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna head out. We're gonna head out here. The Lakers are on the road for the next 4 games. Our next home game is Tuesday, November 26th.
Right.
So we got a little break here from that, so we will talk to everyone before then. But in the meantime, go Lakers. Looks like we're on for
definitely
the
check out Cardinal.
Yeah, definitely check out Cardinal. A lot of good stuff.
All
He's
my
talking about
accounts-
home mortgage
all my accounts
loans,
are
stuff
there.
like that,
Yep.
Christmas stuff.
Thanks
so-
for having me, guys. It's fun.
Yeah, we got.
listen,
we're
We'll
gonna have
definitely
you
see
back.
you back here on the 27th.
That's right.
I'll be here.
'Cause, we're going to be looking for the big bet. We have to think what the bet's going to be that day. We usually
we'll
up it a
determine
little bit
something.
for that game. And a whole pizza type stuff, that is along the right lines. That's kind of what we
Right.
kind of do stuff like that. But right now, Jeremiah, I feel now jinxed if he and I are together going for the Browns. That's not good for me. We'll wish you guys.
Tell me how you really feel.
Just say the truth, man. I speak the truth. All right, guys. Hey, have a great day and go Lakers.
Bye-bye now.
All right, thanks.